Hello there.
Hey, pervy sage!
Yo, welcome back to the Full Nerd Academia podcast. I am your host, Master D Maito. I am joined today, as always, by my wonderful co-host.
Ain't nobody coming to see you, Otis.
Hello there.
Bankai Merc. Turn your damn camera on.
I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I didn't. I was trying to type something to you. That's why. How you doing? How you got, bro? How you just gonna try to take all the credit today? How you guys doing today? Lovely day. It's actually very nice outside. How about for you guys out there in the good old Chirac?
It's not too bad, man. It started off pretty cold, and it's still a little chilly, but it's like really sunny out. So it's warm in the sun, but it's just cold everywhere else. So you know how that goes.
Yeah. So before we start, can we get a Spider-Man point for a quick second?
You said a what?
Can we get the Spider-Man point for a quick second?
The Spider-Man.
I don't know if you noticed, but we're both wearing Black Panther shirts today.
Oh wow. I didn't notice that you were wearing a Black Panther shirt. And I was like,
I didn't notice you.
I was about to wear a Flash shirt, and I was just like, wait, we're talking Marvel. I gotta wear a Marvel shirt. And I was like, shit, where's my Black Panther shirt? So I went and found the Black Panther shirt. Thinking you would wear a Miles freaking shirt of all people.
All right, so I was gonna wear my cool hoodie that has I wore before that has Miles, Black Panther, and Storm, but I couldn't find it. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go to the next best thing, which is Black Panther. So
damn disappointment, bro.
Yeah. So I just had to give you the point real quick because that's hilarious.
Dumb as hell.
So yeah, so we have a interesting show today. First, we want to give a special shout out to. I appreciate you putting the music on. I wish it was a little hip hoppy, but it's all good. You know, I'll take the.
Wait, just wait a second. It's gonna kick in. It's literally lo-fi hip hop.
Okay, I'm sorry. I apologize, but we wanted to give a special tribute to Black History Month. So we wanted to touch on Black characters. So this is going to be a fun one. Before we start, I just want to throw out there because I did not put it on my Instagram. I apologize to everybody. But yeah, so we wanted to give a special one. Shut up, bitch. I wanted to give a special one. So
Shut up, bitch.
I'm gonna say this now, even though like some people will probably disagree with me, but a lot of Black superheroes don't get enough recognition for being in comics. Like, yeah, of course we know some, like Black Panther, of course. Everybody knows Luke Cage from the Netflix series. Really, that's where he got big from. That's my opinion, not everybody's. And then, excuse me. Then we got a few others like Blade because of the Wesley Snipes the movie. Spawn is another one because of the movie. Even though it was like way old, like not many people don't remember Spawn now. Like a lot of kids now are not gonna know unless you're a comic book reader. But yeah, so we wanted to give a good shout out to them. We appreciate the people who's written a lot of these characters and put them into these comics for people like us, minorities. So Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, all the comics out there, we truly appreciate you guys for giving us this tribute.
Perfect.
Couldn't have said it better myself, man. Look, so all this month, we're each one of these episodes to the next 3 episodes, we're going to be touching on some of the more famous like Black African American superheroes throughout comics. Today specifically, we're going to be talking about Marvel comics, hence the Marvel characters in our backgrounds. We're both wearing Black Panther t-shirts, so we're going to be talking about Marvel superheroes. Next week, if you join us, we'll be talking about DC, and then for the end of the month, we'll have something special. We're talking about Milestone comics. So if you know, you know. If not, join us then. We'll learn a little bit more about Milestone comics on that day. But before we get into like the meat and potatoes of today's episode, bro, just really quick, I wanted to touch on something. Did you see the leaks, the set photo leaks of Daredevil Born Again?
I've seen one, maybe no, I've seen two. I've seen one where it was Wilson Fisk talking to Daredevil in a diner. I've seen that one, and I've seen Bullseye. That's all I've seen so far.
Okay, so because I'm on TikTok, it's like kind of hard not to run into this stuff. They're showing. I mean, the leak, so to speak, is Daredevil's new costume, Bullseye in his costume, and then I think you and I might have sent them to you. I can't remember, but it's Foggy, Karen, and Matt like walking.
Oh yeah, I saw that one too.
So
yeah, I saw that one as well.
But yeah.
Oh yeah, another one before we start too. This is like breaking news. Meps is out of DCUO.
Yeah, dude, I'm trying to
run since the game started.
Literally, I mean, he's been there since the game started, so that's what, 13 years? Just after the 13-year anniversary. I'm trying to. I want to see like an actual article. The article that we saw didn't list his name, but the person who sent it to us, I'm assuming probably saw it on like X or some other social media, I would imagine. So like I haven't seen an actual article about it yet, like listing him specifically. But you know, if he is indeed out, like, dude, that's wild. I mean, he's a community manager for literally 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
Very long time, and for him to, you know, to resign or whatever the case may have been, like, I don't know. That to me, that just points to like bad things coming from either the studio or, I mean, I would imagine then the studio in general. And the last couple of years, I think the studio's been hurting anyways. So like, I think this is just like another product of that, you know.
So I was on the game today, and I've seen a lot of mixed reviews about him being gone. Some people are very happy because a lot of people think he's been holding the game back, which I don't understand because he has nothing to do with the production of the game itself or what comes out. And then I've seen some people who weren't really too thrilled. They think the game is about to die. This is one of the longest tenured MMO games out there. So, you know, kudos to those guys for making this game last this long for us, you know, nerds basically, nerds and geeks and whoever like DCUO. So I'm actually excited to see what happens with the game because, you know, to this day, I still thoroughly enjoy playing the game. I'm going to start streaming on our Twitch when I'm playing. So you guys get a feel of the game itself. I just don't know which character I'm going to play on while I'm streaming. I'm probably going to play on Bankai Merc instead of my Batman.
Hey, that works. Whatever works, man. Yeah, dude. I mean, because he's a community manager. I don't think he has much say or to do in, you know, when it comes to the production of the game. If he does or not, I'm not entirely sure. I know that his main thing is like keeping up with social media. Really, it's that. It's keeping up with social media. He's always posting on the forums and stuff like that. So, like, you know, he's the one that people kind of turn to whenever it comes to anything community-wise. So, like, I don't know that he has anything to do with his quote-unquote downfall in terms of, like, the production of the game. Unless you're talking about the community in general. But I don't know. I think I would need some context.
Same. All right.
I mean, on that note, let's I'm gonna crack one open for good old Meps here. So.
Compa, ¿qué le parece esa mora? La que anda bailando sola, me gusta, papi.
Is that a Rolling Rock?
It's a Rolling Rock, man. I've been drinking these on here.
Oh, I wasn't sure. Look, the sad part is I was gonna get some today, and I changed my mind stupidly. I should have got it. I didn't fall through my own plan. Now I'm embarrassed. I'm over here drinking cranberry juice.
I stopped on my way home. I was like, let me go ahead and grab me a 6-pack. If it lasts me today, then I can use some tomorrow while I'm watching the Super Bowl. So.
Yeah, that was my plan. I was gonna buy some for tomorrow for the Super Bowl. But yeah, let's get right into it. So we're gonna pass them off one by one. You do one. You know what? I'll start it off.
I was gonna say you started off.
Yeah, started off. Yeah, with the OG himself.
OG black superhero Marvel.
You got the picture for me? Pull it up. I know you got one. I know you got him. You didn't do it?
I didn't like set up a whole folder or anything, but I do have a folder with them. So give me just a second here.
Okay. I thought honestly I should have texted you that yesterday too, and I was like, damn, I'm slipping. I was like, I hope he got the picture up at least, because now I feel embarrassed if he didn't. My bad. Excuse me. My bad, everybody. That was me.
Good,
normally him and I communicate, but it's been a hectic week for the both of us.
I got a little something. It's not too hard to get here. Oh,
I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty catchy.
They pop up for us.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Oh, you know what?
Yeah. So, like we were saying, we're starting out with the OG himself, the Black Panther, the African god himself. Even though he's not the god, but we're gonna call him the god because that's who he is. He's the OG. So Black Panther originally started in Fantastic Four. This was his first appearance in July of 1966. So if you don't know, which everybody should know, Black Panther is the head of state of the African nation of Wakanda, and they're mostly known for their advanced technology and the fact that they have vibranium. So he was really big on not allowing Wakanda to really get out into the world, because he wanted to hide the fact that they're advanced and how advanced they are compared to the world itself. And T'Challa, I'm kind of jumping all over the place with this, but T'Challa ended up taking the mantle after his father passed away. Not like the movie. We're gonna put that out there. Not like the movie. But T'Challa is the longest tenured Black Panther we have. I think he's still the Black Panther in the comics. Am I correct? I think you sent me
He's still the Black Panther in the main universe, and then
which is 616.
We actually just got they just released Black Panther #1, or Ultimate Black Panther #1 rather. So the establishment of the Black Panther in the new Ultimate Universe, I should say.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Thanks,
So T'Challa is the first biological son, like I was saying, from T'Chaka, and then right behind him is his sister, Shuri. Shuri. Let's say Zuri, but who the hell is Zuri? Ignore me. I'm sorry.
Picture of it. There we go.
Yes, so Shuri is the second Black Panther. She ended up becoming Black Panther. I believe T'Challa disappeared, or he passed away. I forgot which one it is. I didn't read much. I didn't read much of her story when she became Black Panther.
T'Challa had to step down as being as being Black Panther because it became too much for him to be Black Panther and King of Wakanda. So Shuri took the role of Black Panther.
I'm sorry, you know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of oh, hold on. Iron Giant, I appreciate that. Even though neither one of us had nothing to do with the music, but yeah, we appreciate it. You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of Batman and the Court of Owls. That's why.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but she becomes the Black Panther in place of T'Challa, and she had a nice run of Black Panther.
She definitely did, and like after a while, like she was even still Black Panther after T'Challa went back and became the King of the Dead. He became Black Panther again with like new powers and stuff. And then like going into Secret Wars, I believe they were both still Black Panther at that time. And if I could be wrong, I'm not 100% caught up on 616, but she might even still have like a place. If anything, she might even have a place in the Dora Milaje. I'm not entirely certain. I know that in the Ultimate Universe, she is part of the Dora Milaje. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say she's like the leader of the Dora Milaje. So,
and I wouldn't be surprised because she has hands.
She definitely does. She is not to be trifled with. You know, I mean, they definitely kind of alluded to that a little bit in the first Black Panther movie, and then obviously we see that in Black Panther Wakanda Forever that she does in fact have hands and whatever. But like, you know, she definitely is a monster. You know, she definitely is a freaking like a powerhouse when it comes to just being like an excellent fighter and just being an excellent Black Panther in general. So.
Yeah. So back to T'Challa himself. T'Challa is one of the best to basically ever do it. Hence why he's smart. He's also he's one of the biggest. So he's like I said, he's smart. He's on the Illuminati. That's the reason why. And then like his powers. So like everybody knows that he has the divine empowerment where he eats the fruit which gives him the power, and then also he has to dumb himself down. So like he can challenge anybody who wants to challenge him for the spot of the Black Panther. It's always open. I think it's once a month or something like that. It was like once a year. They do that in the comics that allows other people to try for it.
It might be once a year. I can't remember 100%.
Yeah, me either. But he has peak human strength, which he gets from the divine empowerment. Like I said, he's one of the smartest out there. He has superhuman. He's just as fast as probably like I want to say Olympic class. It says Olympic class runners. He's able to run 35 miles per hour, up to 41 to 45 miles per hour, and that's also part of his attack speed too, which is crazy. Like I'm just reading this stuff right here. So he also has the ability to attack faster than the eye can follow. His combat speed seems to be more enhanced than anything else, as he frequently kept up with other enemies in combat and blitzed people before they pull the trigger, their trigger fingers. He has peak human.
He's definitely on par, if not probably faster than like Logan Wolverine, because it's been stated that like Logan Wolverine can move faster than the eye can track, similar to like that. So I would imagine that he's on par, if not probably faster than him as well.
There's something else I learned that I did not know. I did not know he had peak human regeneration. T'Challa's enhanced healing speed and capabilities allows him to have a conditioned metabolism and immune system that enables extraordinarily efficient healing. I didn't know that. I know he has quick reflexes. That's an automatic. That's T'Challa. So
the cat-like reflexes.
Exactly.
I knew he had some measure of like healing abilities. I didn't know to what degree, but that definitely makes sense. I believe that the heart shaper definitely like grants, you know, certain other attributes besides the strength and then the agility and stuff like that. So
yeah, so then it goes into his abilities, which, like I said, his genius intellect. T'Challa is a polymath genius and has an eidetic, which is a photographic memory. His knowledge of physics and engineering ranks him among the top 8 intellects of the world. That's why he's on the Illuminati. He possesses accomplishments such as a PhD in physics from Oxford University. He also combined alchemy with science to create a new scientific field called shadow physics, a dangerous discipline which allowed him to track vibranium on a quantum level, craft weapons which would be particularly effective against vibranium, and create an unstable teleportation device, which at the time ripped apart anyone using it with great healing ability. He's a master martial artist, a master acrobat, an expert marksman, a master tactician, an expert tracker and hunter, of course, because you got to be if you're a panther. He's multilingual, which he can speak his native language, English, and other various languages. He's a master inventor, highly influential connections. And of course, you got to be, if you're the king of Wakanda, you got to be able to be able to communicate to different lands. So it also has diplomatic immunity, and of course, he's wealthy because he's the king. We have to give a huge shout out to the Black Panther, and also again, Marvel, a huge shout out to you guys too, especially with you guys adding adding Black Panther and MCU. Rest in peace to one of the best that Chadwick Boseman.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah. So Marvel, again, we appreciate you. So now we're gonna jump into the second one. So Maito, who are you blessing us with next?
I'm gonna be blessing us with Blade. Give me just a second here to get this picture up.
All right, I'm gonna get some more cranberry juice while you do that.
All right, so one of the characters that I'm going to be presenting you guys with today is Blade. Some of you guys might know him from the Blade trilogy from I think it's 97, if I'm not mistaken. His first movie might even be before that. Into the early 2000s with Blade 2, Blade Trinity. Obviously portrayed amazingly by the great Wesley Snipes. Say what you want, the Blade trilogy is still like one of the best like superhero like movies, hands down. Like still the same, like are still like the best superhero trilogies like ever. Not just because it was like some of the first, but it was like literally like for sure the first 2 Blade movies were like intense or so insane. Blade, the very first, awesome. Like that opening scene in terms of like just how you introduce a character into a movie, you know what I'm saying? So just some quick stats for Blade. His first appearance was in Tomb of Dracula in July of 1973. He was created by Marv Wolfman and Gene Colan. His real name is Eric Brooks. He is what's considered a Dhampir, which is basically like a vampire human hybrid. Like, so a vampire who's born from a human. So one of the things about Blade in his first appearance, if you ever seen him in his first appearance, you will definitely not recognize him from what he looks like today. So obviously everybody knows Blade as like, in the sleek, long, black leather jacket, the black, the long overcoat with like body armor, with swords and, silver stakes, wearing the glasses with a cool haircut and stuff like that. But really, honestly, back in his first appearance, one of the things that he sort of represented, him and Luke Cage actually kind of have this in common, was that they were somewhat part of the like blaxploitation movement back in the like early 70s. Blaxploitation, if you don't know what that is, basically like utilizing. It was like a way for African Americans and black actors and stuff like that to make their way into Hollywood, and so there was that whole movement where it was just like completely black led movies. You had stuff like you had Blackula. That's honestly kind of what he was like based on, was Blackula. So if you see him in his first appearance, he's like literally wearing like just like some sort of like 70s sort of retro clothes. He's got an afro. He's wearing the glasses similar as he does here, but his weapons were a lot more just like classic vampire hunting weapons. So like wooden stakes, crosses, stuff to that nature. But over time, it morphed into this character, and I want to say that he became this sort of character because of the Blade movies. But honestly, Blade is one of those staple characters. He's part of the supernatural world. One of the teams that he is part of is the Midnight Suns, which is basically like Marvel's version of like Justice League Dark. So all the characters that sort of have who don't necessarily operate, in the light, or they don't, they're a little bit more rough and tumble characters. They have a lot to do with like the more supernatural, paranormal, like things that go bump in the night. He's frequently collaborated with why am I blanking on his name? With Morbius. So yeah, he started off in Tomb of Dracula, and he was in that for quite a while. Let's see. Some of his powers include that he's a master martial artist, skilled swordsman and marksman. He's highly knowledgeable about vampire lore. He's got superhuman strength, speed, and agility. That all comes from his vampire physiology. He's got the ability to sense supernatural creatures. He's got slowed aging. He has immunity to vampire bites and vampire hypnosis. He's got accelerated healing factor, and he has some enhanced senses. So like, basically the way that he was in the movie, it was pretty much his like real origin. So like his mother was pregnant with him, and then she was turned by a vampire, or she was bitten by a vampire shortly before he was born. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe she died, and then he was born. So when he came out, he had vampire DNA, which basically gave him all of the powers of a vampire, or at least some of them, but with the ability to like actually walk in the daytime, because vampires are weak to the sun. But yeah, he's like one of the dopest Marvel characters. He's like anything that you've seen in the movie is like how he is in the comics. He's frequently fighting Dracula. All kinds of vampires, and not just vampires, like all kinds of like supernatural creatures, werewolves, mummies. He's also frequently collaborated with like Werewolf by Night, Morbius, like I said, Elsa Bloodstone. He and her collaborate quite a lot because they're both monster hunters. Currently in the comics, I believe Blade has a daughter. I just don't remember what her name is. And she has similar powers to him. But, he became a lot more popular in recent years because they actually made him a part of the Avengers. So he was on the Avengers for quite a while. I don't think he's on the current team, but he's been a frequent collaborator of the Avengers as well. So he's like one of the dopest characters, and I honestly I cannot wait until we finally get him back in the like live action universe. Hopefully very soon we get to see Mahershala Ali as Blade instead of just hearing him as voice in the background. So you got anything to add about Blade before we move on, bro?
Yeah, so I'm excited to. I know they've been having a little issues with the Mahershala Ali movie, but I'm glad they're leading down the right path, and I can't wait to see that movie. Of course, I just wanted to correct, it was 1998 for the first Blade movie.
Okay.
Yeah, you were close though.
I thought it was 97, but
wrong. I'm sorry, I had to hit you with the Charlie Murphy.
You're right about everything, bro.
No, I had to hit you with Charlie Murphy. I'm sorry. It was just Charlie Murphy was just thinking in my head. But yeah, so I honestly can't wait. I think Blade's one of the cooler black superheroes. Blade, aka the Daywalker himself. So I'm excited. I can't wait to see that. And just like you said, like before, if you see Blade when he first came out compared to like now, you would definitely appreciate the new Blade. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like the old one is cool. I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like the new one better with the high top. You get to see the teeth, the black sleeve, looking like he came straight out of the Matrix. I like that Blade.
Yeah, no, I think that's everybody's favorite version of Blade. I think his original appearance and stuff, like it has a certain charm to it. It harkens back to, like I said, to like the early '70s, like the blaxploitation movement with and movies and stuff like that. Same with like Luke Cage and his original attire and stuff like that has a cool place in everybody's heart. But I think everybody, for the most part, can agree that like his new and updated or modern look is like definitely better.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
All right, let's move on. Who did you want to go to next, sir?
So I want to go on to a character who's well slept on. I'm going to go into a street level character, and we're going to go touch Night Thrasher. So clearly, you can see this is. I don't want y'all to think this is like. Who would you say is close to it? I don't want y'all to say this is someone like Deadpool or what's my man's name? Deathstroke. Cool character. So we're gonna start with his name. His name is Dwayne Taylor, which sounds black. Dwayne Taylor. He came into comics, huh?
So he sounds like Zach Taylor's brother. Zach Taylor, aka the first black Power Ranger. Anyways.
Oh God. And it was funny, it makes it he wears black.
Yeah.
So he came. This is crazy. So Night Thrasher's real name is Dwayne Taylor. First appeared in the Mighty Thor issue 411 in December of 1989. So Dwayne Taylor is from New York City. Sorry. He's a non-superpowered vigilante, the son of murdered billionaire industrious parents with the ties to the Vietnam War, who uses an advanced suit of body armor, firearms, and a skateboard, which is hilarious, to battle his foes and uses billionaire resources of his family foundation to fund the New Warriors battle. New Warriors is his group name that he actually created himself. Battle against crime and corruption. Outside of the skateboard, doesn't that remind you of somebody? Isn't it funny how all this stuff is tied together? All right. So like I said, he's the leader of the New Warriors. And he's the head of the Taylor Foundation, which I was explaining. I find him cool because like he's a superhero that has no superpowers. And he's out there beating up people. And he's that good of a martial artist, because that's one of his biggest things, is that he was able to keep up with the Punisher. And not many people can do that, especially non-superpowered ones. And everybody knows the Punisher's a dog. So so he has, like I said, he created his own group called the New Warriors. And one of the biggest people, like one of the people that if you know your Marvel stuff, one of the biggest people he recruited was, I'm about to say Reed Richards, Jesus. Not Reed Richards, everybody. Not Reed Richards. It's Richard Rider. And if you know Richard Rider, you know who he is.
Yeah. Nova.
Come on. Yeah, he's the original Nova. Yeah.
Yeah, man. New Warriors definitely had a big impact on a lot of people, like early '90s. I was never into the New Warriors per se, but they had a big presence in the Marvel Civil War storyline. They were actually the part of the reason for the Superhuman Registration Act.
They didn't even have, maybe they didn't. I'm gonna say, didn't they even have a cartoon? But no, they didn't.
No, I want to say that they were working on a show though. at one point. I don't remember when, but I remember hearing something about this. It might have been in like late 90s, early 2000s that they were working on the show, but it just never came to be.
Okay, I thought they had a cartoon. I swore I saw some. Anyways, so for him, I had it. He's only worked with. He only had 2 partnerships, which is Midnight's Fire and Silhouette. But for team affiliations, New Warriors, like I said, that was one he created. Taylor Foundation, Folding Circle, which I don't know. I never heard of those, I'm not gonna lie. But his abilities is he's a skilled acrobat and aerialist, skilled martial artist and hand-to-hand combatant. He's a skilled inventor and computer hacker with an expert detective background. Anything you want to add about Night Thrasher himself?
No, I remember. Wasn't that a character you were trying to make on DC Universe Online like way back when?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It was him and Phantom X.
yeah, I remember that. Like, he was always a character that you held a torch for, and like for good reason too. Obviously, because like he's like sort of like a Batman / like Nightwing character.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit younger, and he's part of the New Warriors, which was supposed to be sort of like Marvel's analog to the Titans. And then the show you were talking about, so it wasn't a cartoon, as far as I know, but I do remember they were working on a pilot, or they made a pilot for the New Warriors, for Freeform. So like the same channel that had the Runaways and Cloak and Dagger, I believe.
Yeah, it was Cloak and Dagger.
And so it was starring Milana Vaintrub as Squirrel Girl, Derek Thaler as Mr. Mortal, Jeremy Tardy as Night Thrasher, Callum Worthy as Speedball, Matthew Moy as Microbe. I'm not sure who Microbe is. I don't know who these last two people are. Kate Comer as but anyways, so like it was something that they were working on, but eventually they canceled it, unfortunately. I still feel like it. I think it probably would have been a cool show to see. They probably just didn't want to put it on that network or whatever. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't read the full story, but it would have been cool to see Night Thrasher in some form or fashion in live action, or even to see them in a like a cartoon would be sick, especially if it's like a more adult-oriented cartoon and it's a little bit, I don't want to say darker, but like it's a little bit more in the vein of like what the New Warriors were, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I don't have much else to say, but I mean, he always had like a really cool design to me.
Same.
And just in general, he is a pretty cool character. So, definitely slept on. Like, not a lot of people talk about him or the New Warriors in general, unless they're like big fans from the '90s. So, you definitely got to check him out. Definitely check him out.
All right, who we got next?
Give me a second here. Gotta see. Nope. Not the person.
Whoa, hey, yo.
Show, bro. Why don't I have a picture of Storm?
Hey, yo. What's up with you closing?
It's just because I double clicked after the arrow and it just like automatically zooms in. Why don't I have
sus, my boy?
Chill out. Chill, bro. Oh, that's wild. Okay, so unfortunately, I don't have a picture of Storm, guys. But the next character that I will be talking about is going to be Storm.
You might also just pull up a quick picture of Storm. You want with the hair or without the hair? I ain't gonna lie, this one looks cool.
I was gonna say her modern rendition is pretty sick, but
yeah, all right. I want to see what you pull up things. The ones I see is I want to see the modern rendition. So I want to see what you pull up.
second.
Is the one with the mohawk?
Yeah, I got one.
Okay, I was gonna say I got one then.
Stop sharing.
You're failing us. You failed this city.
Chill.
Yeah,
Chill.
that's the one I was gonna give you.
Yeah. All right. So the next character I will be talking about is Storm, aka Aurora Monroe. Famous character from the X-Men comic. She was introduced to Giant Size X-Men #1 in May of 1975, created by Len Wein and Dave Cockrum. She is literally a goddess, guys. Like, she was born with the mutant ability to control the weather. And it's not just like, oh, I can make it rain, I can make it snow. No, you don't understand just how powerful this woman is. Like, to be able to manipulate the molecules, the atoms in the air in order to, you know, make it thunderstorm, to make it rain, you know, to, you know, kick up a whirlwind, make it, you know, freezing ice, snow, and just anything in general. And she's not limited to just what she can do on Earth. She can manipulate the weather on any planet that she's on. So currently in the comics, she's actually, she is the ruler. She's the ruler of Morocco, I believe, or she's one of the rulers on Morocco, which is Mars. It's basically a colony of mutants that lives on Mars, and she's insanely powerful. And not only that, but like, so in her, like, she was kind of slept on in her first appearance, I feel like, but overall, like, as the years have gone on, she's just become more and more of a powerhouse, and her popularity has only grown with time. I wouldn't say she's slept on at all. If you are sleeping on Storm, like, you better ask somebody, because she is the shit. So, like, she has been not only the leader, like I said, she's the leader of Morocco currently, but she's been the leader of the X-Men and different, you know, various multiple teams of X-Men many times. I want to say is X-Men Red is one of the teams that she was a leader of, and then on top of that, like, she ran, you know, the Xavier Institute for Gifted Youngsters many times. She is insane. Like, let's just quickly list her abilities. So it's atmokinesis, and basically, like I said, atmokinesis is the ability to manipulate all types of weather. She has the power of flight. She has ecological empathy, temperature and pressure resistance. So, just a little bit of backstory about her real quick before we dive fully into her abilities. She was born in Africa, if I'm not mistaken. She was born in Kenya. Yeah, she was a princess of a tribe in Kenya, the descendants of a long line of African witch priestesses, with white hair and blue eyes, natural gift of sorcery. But basically what that actually ended up being was that it was a mutant gene that she possessed that came from, you know, the long line of her, you know, her family. As a young girl, eventually she was She was orphaned and then taken in by Amal Farouk, aka the Shadow King, who basically used her as like a street rat, somebody who was like would steal for him, and basically just kind of kept her afraid to like fight back. Eventually she did fight back, and then she like met Charles Xavier, who like brought her to the Xavier Institute. She's literally, she's been around since 75, so she has so many like different titles and like storylines that she's been a part of. But in any like team that she's on, she's always one of, if not the most powerful character on the team. So much so, like I said, she was a queen, or a princess rather, in Africa for a long time. She married Black Panther. They were married for a very long time. And that right there is like a huge, you want to talk about power couples, they were the legitest power couple that there was. Because you get Black Panther, who is very powerful in his own right, but then he's got a literal goddess as, he's the avatar of the goddess Bast, and then she is basically like a literal goddess herself. So like insanely powerful couple. So just to kind of dive into her powers a little bit more, she has weather control. So she has a plethora of abilities, most of which are facets of her power to manipulate the weather. She has a psionic ability to control all forms of weather over vast areas. And all of those sorts of things, it includes tornadoes, thunderstorms, blizzards, hurricanes, mist, rain, like anything that you can think of weather-wise, like she's pretty much able to do. And not only that, but then she's also demonstrated the ability to control other natural forces like cosmic storms, solar winds, the ocean currents themselves, electromagnetic fields, which who does that remind you of? Freaking Magneto. So she's on par with Magneto, who is an Omega level mutant. She is an Omega level mutant. She's literally one of the most powerful. That's why she's so prominent in the X-Men comic books. So she's just overall, she's insane. And on top of that, she is literally one of the most beautiful freaking comic book characters to ever grace the page, let alone the screen. So yeah. I cannot wait to see who they choose to portray her in the MCU when they finally and eventually get to the X-Men. But if they need to have Storm on the X-Men, there's no way that you could just cut her out. She is the most powerful and literally one of the best X-Men that there is. What do you got, bro? You cooking up something you wanna add to Storm here?
So she was never really my favorite of the X-Men, but like you were saying, for her, you gotta respect her as one of the X-Men because, like you said, she's one of the Omega class level mutants. I was one of the people who slept on her. My first iteration of Storm was actually the X-Men comics. But I always knew she was a beast. Just watching the X-Men cartoon. Right. I always knew she was a beast, and I'm like, dang, yo, some of the episodes they kind of dumbed her down, and that kind of pissed me off. But now that I'm older and I'll go back and I watch the '90s X-Men, she was, oh my god, you'd be like, damn, how are you? Why are you this strong? It doesn't make any sense of why you're this strong. So then now I appreciate Storm way more than I did until they put Halle Berry as Storm, but we're not going to talk about that. Yeah. I wasn't a fan of Halle Berry's Storm. I liked it because we got to see Storm in a movie, but I wasn't a fan. I didn't like that X-Men. That X-Men in general I wasn't a fan of, except for Sir Patrick Stewart himself being Professor Xavier. After that, I didn't really care for those X-Men. I thought that was I thought they were all terrible movies. It was just nice because we got an X-Men team. But yeah, I wasn't a fan. But Storm herself, I love the character. I love the character as I got to know more about her.
I can understand that. I can understand that for sure. Just a second here. So
Take your time.
So to get to your next character.
Because my next character is my favorite character all time. Just wait for him to pull it up before I start going into more about him. Whoo-hoo! And it has to be the guy himself, the GOAT, the best Spider-Man there is.
One second. Before you start, I'm gonna crack another one open for Storm and for this character right now.
Mi conta, ¿qué le parece esa mora? La que anda bailando sola, me gusta, papi.
All right. For you, if you guys don't know, that's Luffy singing "Ella Baila Sola." I don't know why it's been stuck in my head, so every time I crack open the beer, I'm playing that from now on. So, you're welcome. Anyways, my bad, bro. Go ahead. Didn't mean to steal your thunder.
You are absolutely fine. So, again, this is my favorite Spider-Man. We all gotta show respect to the original, the OG Spider-Man himself, which is Peter Parker. But this guy here has been my favorite Spider-Man since he came out, which was in 2011, I believe it was. 2011. And his first comic was Ultimate Comics Fallout number 4. So the reason why I like Miles Morales is because we share the same ethnicity. I as well am Puerto Rican and black. He's Puerto Rican and black. The funny thing is that I don't know, like I believe it's the same thing, but I know in the video game they have him where he's from Brooklyn, and he moved to Harlem. That's how they have it in the game. But I'm the opposite. So I'm from Harlem, but I lived in Brooklyn. So it was like funny to me, we went this way. But that was like one of my.
Subway. Y'all passed each other on the subway.
We probably did pass. Hey, me and Gambino probably did pass the subway, each other in the subway. Who knows? All right. So that's the fun. That was the kicker. Like they were trying to get Childish Gambino to play Miles Morales Spider-Man, in the cartoons and stuff. I think it was. No, actually, it was supposed to be a live action. Him being Miles Morales. Yeah. It never panned out. So then what they did was, which is hilarious to me, is that they ended up making him the Prowler in Tom Holland's movie. I think it was Far From Home. No, it wasn't Far From Home. It was
Homecoming.
Yes, and Spider-Man: Homecoming. And then he actually mentions his nephew, or he mentions that he was trying to get back to go see his family, which was, I think he said he's trying to go see his nephew, if I'm correct. So he said that
he has a nephew, and he didn't want the weapons in the neighborhood because he's got a nephew who lives there. And then in the deleted scene, you could see him calling Miles. He's like, "Hey, Miles, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm kind of stuck doing something right now."
I'm mad. I didn't get to see that one, but yeah. So we got Childish Gambino as the Prowler, which is, to me, is hilarious. So, I keep touching my mouse. My mouse is for my work computer. So yeah. So background on Miles, which is, to me, this part is even funnier because this is not like, I don't want to say it's not normal. It kind of is, but it isn't. Normally in a Spanish family, you have two last names, which is your mother's first and then your father's after. Yeah, I said it. No, it's the opposite. I'm sorry, it's the opposite. Yeah, it's the father's first and then the mother's after. Excuse me. So he was born to, of course, everybody knows, if you know Miles, his father's name is Jefferson Davis. He's a police officer, and his mother's a nurse. Her name is Rio Morales. Like I said, they're from Brooklyn. they were trying to get him. They were rolling him into a school, like one of the top high schools out there in Brooklyn, which is called Brooklyn Visions Academy. And his name was drawn, and he ended up getting accepted. So how he ended up getting his powers was Norman Osborn was arrested by S.H.I.E.L.D., and then it was publicly revealed that he was the Green Goblin. And nearly 2 months before Peter's death, Miles' uncle, Aaron Davis, who's the Prowler, broke into the abandoned Osborn Industries, and he stole the spider genetically enhanced Oz formula. Well, he stole something, and then the spider crawled into his bag. So Miles, even though he wasn't supposed to go visit his uncle because his dad didn't want him to follow, like he didn't want him to be, like, they were kind of similar, Miles and damn, I can't think of Aaron. So his dad didn't want him around him too much because, like, he didn't want Miles to follow in the footsteps of Aaron. So he went over there without telling his mom or dad. Like, he snuck over there, and as he was sitting there waiting for his uncle, he ended up getting bit by that their version of the radioactive spider. Because remember, he's from a different version. He's not from 616. He's from 1610. So that's how he ended up getting the powers. So he told his best friend, who's Genki Lee, that he noticed that he had similar powers to the original, or Peter Parker Spider-Man, but a few different powers, where he had camouflage, he had a stun blast. Well, that was really it. He had the stun blast and camouflage, which, you know, everybody knows the original Spider-Man doesn't have. So he had every other power the original Spider-Man had, except for those two. 1 second. So once he found that out, he didn't like the fact that he ended up getting the powers, because he didn't want to be Spider-Man. He wanted to be like any other kid. He wanted to be a normal kid, and just to live a normal life. So then he ended up seeing the death of Spider-Man, and he was mad at himself because that he didn't go out there to go help, because he knew he had the powers. He was mad at himself because he didn't go out there and help Spider-Man. So Spider-Man was actually out there because he was protecting, of course, other people, but the people he was out there protecting, it wasn't on purpose, of course, because Spider-Man helps everybody. He was out there and he actually protected Jefferson Davis from getting killed by Green Goblin. So then that's what made him even more upset, because like he was out there fighting for a great cause, and he wasn't out there to help him. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to take over the mantle of Spider-Man, and I'm going to live, I'm not live his life, but I'm going to try to live up to his expectations of what he did. Of course, like everybody knows that any Spider-Man kid fails, but he was trying his best. So my favorite part is that they ended up bringing Peter back to life, and when they run into each other and they're fighting on the roof, and then he disappears, he hit the camouflage and goes behind Peter and stuns him. He goes, oh snap, well that's different, I don't have that power, and then just drops. So then he ties him up, so he tried to have a conversation to break down, like, hey, look, only reason why I'm doing this is because you died, and I wanted to make sure I live up to your mantle. So I don't want you to think like I'm doing this just because I'm trying to. So that's how him and Peter ended up becoming friends, and then Peter ended up teaching him more about how to be Spider-Man. So just to give you a quick, hold on, my brother actually said something.
Yeah, I popped it up.
You popped it up? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't notice it. Yeah. So, bro, if you know, like, this is my favorite Spider-Man. Like, I love Spider-Man, but this is hands down my favorite. 1 second, I had to go back into what I was looking at before. So, abilities that he has, of course, we know, as all Spider-Man have, superhuman strength, speed, agility, and reflexes. Ability to cling on solid surfaces, which is wall crawling. Everybody knows that. Now, like I said, this is what makes him different from the original Spider-Man, is that he has camouflage, which he can go invisible, which he had to learn how to control. Venom Strike / Venom Blast. Venom Strike is like when he comes behind you, he can touch you and he can just stun you, which is like one of the coolest things. Bioelectric energy threads, which I think that's cool. His spider sense is a little bit more different compared to no, it is right. It's different compared to Peter's, correct?
I don't know if it was before, but it definitely is now. Like his powers have basically kind of evolved. His spider senses has evolved, and his venom strike has actually evolved too. So like now within the comics, with his spider sense, he can basically allows him to kind of see like through objects. It almost kind of gives him an X-ray sense. So there's that. I think it even goes a little bit further than that. I don't entirely remember, but it's definitely gotten more powerful than even like Peter's has. And then his venom strike, he can actually kind of create constructs out of the like bioelectricity. So like he's like made like a legit like sword out of it. It's pretty sick. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So this that's the reason why he became one of my favorites. Because it's for me it's relatable. It feels weird because when I say like things like that, people are like, "Oh, so you don't like Miles Morales because he's black?" Yes and no. He also has one of the dopest suits. No, he doesn't have the best Spider-Man suit, but I like his suit because of the black and red. Even though the original Spider-Man suit with that blue, especially the web wings, I like that Spider-Man. But Miles' suit is definitely different. Even like to me, he doesn't have the best suit. I think honestly, my opinion, the best Spider-Man suit is not Spectacular Spider-Man. Oh shit, what's his name? It was Doc Ock Spider-Man. I love his suit. I don't know. Superior Spider-Man. I don't know why, but I really love his suit. I think he has one of the best suits out there. That's not the point. We're not gonna have a Spider-Man conversation because then him and I would start arguing about who the best Spider-Man. And if y'all don't know, his favorite Spider-Man is Ben Reilly. Yes. Dope suit. With trash Spider-Man.
Chill. Anyways. No, dude. Like Miles he's definitely become. I mean, I've always been a fan of his for sure. Like he's not like my top Spider-Man. He's not my favorite Spider-Man, but I mean, he is an amazing character. Like so much so that like I'm so glad to see that he's been getting love in media besides the comics. You know, so like to see him like have his own movie. And like he's gonna have his own trilogy is insane, and then hopefully very soon we get to see him in live action. It's a testament to how great this character is. He was created by Brian Michael Bendis, right? If I'm not mistaken.
I want to say yes. 1 second. Yes.
Brian Michael
Bendis. Yeah, and Sarah Pichelli is the artist who drew him.
He was a huge writer for the Ultimate Comics during that time. So a little bit more like in depth on the whole Childish Gambino and like Miles connection. So like I guess I want to say this was around the time that the Amazing Spider-Man was being cast. Like they were writing it, they were planning on making like a new Spider-Man movies or new Spider-Man movies in general, and like a lot of fans, because like at the time, Childish Gambino, aka why am I blanking on his real name, dude?
You know what? That happens to me a lot, and I never remember his name for some odd reason.
I want to call him Troy Barnes, but he says the real name is Troy Barnes.
That's definitely not Troy Barnes.
Oh man! Oh my god, dude! And I just watched the show that he was in too.
Donald Glover,
thank you. Oh my god. I was like, I don't know why I was blanking so hard. Like, I literally just watched.
That makes two of us.
Smith. Like, Troy Barnes is his character in Community. Anyways, so like, I remember, so he was in Community at the time, He was wearing like some Spider-Man PJs or a Spider-Man costume. I don't remember 100%. But he was wearing something Spider-Man. And he was like, he's a bit of a nerdy person. You know, he's a bit of an artist. He's an actor, all this other stuff. So like a lot of fans were like, hey, you know, why doesn't Donald Glover be the new Spider-Man? Like, you know, he's nerdy, he's cool. Like, I think that he would be a great Spider-Man. He got a lot of hate for that, even though he wasn't even the one who put that out there. He got a lot of hate for it. He didn't even say like, yeah, I want to do that. It was more like you know, I'm more of a fan. You know, like I'm a fan of Peter Parker, blah blah blah. Like you know, Peter Parker's white. I'm not white, but you know, hey, if I were to be Spider-Man, how cool would that be? And like he got a lot of hate on Twitter for it, a lot of hate just in general, and it wasn't even his idea. And Brian Michael Bendis kind of saw that and was just like, why the hell are people getting all up in arms over the color of like Spider-Man's skin? You know, and so then he ended up creating and writing Miles Morales, completely new Spider-Man, not Peter Parker, but you know, a young black kid playing Spider-Man or being Spider-Man. And I mean, like he's literally become like one of the most popular Spider-Mans out there. Like so much so that people were clamoring to see Beyond the Spider-Verse, which we're not going to get until like freaking 2026 now, unfortunately. And then everybody wants to see him in live action. So like, and then just to have you know Donald Glover come back and play Aaron Davis in Spider-Man: Homecoming, and then eventually as the Prowler in, you know, spoilers, in Across the Spider-Verse, is just like the pièce de résistance. You know what I mean? Like the cherry on top is so great. But yeah, like I love Miles. I really love Miles as a character in general, and like to see him get love in the video game as well, like awesome.
I agree. Like, you don't understand how happy I was when I found out that Miles Morales was going to be the next Spider-Man. Oh, that was me. When I found out that like they were going to make a movie for Miles, and then they're going to have him in the video game, you don't understand how excited I was. It's like, excuse me. So the funny story is, when the PlayStation 5 came out, I originally wanted the digital version, and then I started thinking, I'm like, why would I want the digital version? Like, I buy all my Spider-Man games. I buy all my Spider-Man games on disc for a reason. So I seen all the digital versions when I was like, thank God, I still have a chance. I want the CD because I want the disc version so I can get my Spider-Man game. I bought Miles Morales. As soon as I got mine, I bought Miles Morales. I was just so excited to play that game, to be Miles Morales. Bro, I don't even touch the original one. And in the new one, I won't even care to be Peter. I will go like, I'm mad that it's not two players because I'm off the bat. You're not allowed to touch Miles Morales. I'm Miles Morales. That's the hands down. That's the rule. You got to play as the original Spider-Man. You don't like it, too fucking bad. I'm Miles Morales. That's my character. So I was excited to see that, and like, I was thrilled. So as soon as that game came out, bro, I was glued to it. I'm mad that it was too short though. So like, it literally was Spider-Man 1.5. Right. So it was like a filler. It literally was like anime. It was a filler to the good stuff. I'm like, come on, man, why y'all do this to me? Like, y'all really hurt my feelings with this. But it's just still, like a great game.
Like OVA arc or something, like something in between the first and second season.
Yeah, so I was like, you know what, it's fine. You know, I'm still gonna play the game. I don't care. I love it, and I played that thing at least 3-4 times before. I was like, you're right. You know what? I'm done. I want to play the next Spider-Man. I'm gonna sit here and wait. Still didn't play it yet, but we're not gonna talk about that. March, I'm definitely gonna be able to play.
I feel you. But all right, man. I mean, that leads us into our last character, or possibly our last character. We might have time to touch on one more before we get out of here. But the next character I'm going to be talking about is Blue Marvel. Now, 100%, this character is slept on by people who are only casual Marvel fans. he is literally one of the most. I know I already said that like Storm is one of the most powerful characters, but he is 100% one of the most powerful characters in the Marvel universe. And his story is insane. It's crazy, his story. So like, just off the rip, his first appearance was in it's like a one shot, I believe, called Adam Legend of the Blue Marvel #1 in November 2008. He was created by Kevin Graveau, very prominent like black comic writer as well as a black actor. He played. I'm not. Don't quote me on this because I don't remember 100%. But I want to say that he was the original actor who played Thanos in the first Avengers movie. Like at the end when you see Thanos, like I want to say that was him. I could be wrong. It might have been somebody else. But he also, one of the other things that I remember him in, he was one of the Lycans in Underworld, in the Underworld series. So he's famous writer. He's got like really good comics and stuff that he's written. But anyways, I digress. So Blue Marvel, aka Adam Brashear, he is a human mutate, which means that he was a normal human who he altered his DNA. Basically, he was a former fullback at Cornell. He was a veteran of the Korean War and a member of the USMC with 2 Silver Stars. While he was in the Marine Corps, he met Connor Sims, a friend who would later be known as Anti-Man. He became the project lead on a scientific attempt to harness antimatter through the creation of a negative reactor, which created a bridge between our world and the negative zone. The reactor would be the source of unlimited clean energy by allowing devices to tap stable event horizon balance between the 2 universes. Basically, after the accident, he imbued himself with antimatter abilities. So some of his abilities are that he's got superhuman strength, speed, stamina, durability, and it's his mental perception. He's got antimatter manipulation, absorption, and projection. He's got energy absorption and projection, 9 vulnerability, light generation, longevity, flight. He's trained in armed and unarmed combat, and he's got a genius level intellect. So the story about him is that after his accident, he became a superhero, or he got his powers. He became a superhero. He had helped, many people. He'd saved a bunch of people, and this was long before like the times of like Iron Man and the Avengers. I want to say this was in between the time of, well, it's definitely after Captain America because it was after the Korean War, and before Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, in a fight with Anti-Man, I believe. I don't remember who it was he was fighting, but basically he was fighting a villain. He took some damage, but ultimately he came out on top. And during this time in America, it's like, I believe it's the like late 50s, early 60s. You know how things are in America at this time. So he's in a, he was originally hailed as like, a hero of the people. Like people loved him. He was like one of the greatest superheroes. Come to find out, after he gets into this fight, his costume rips, and people can see that he's a black man. Nobody's having that at this time. So like President Kennedy pulls him to the, brings him to the White House. I want to say gives him a Medal of Honor and stuff like that. But like privately, and basically tells him like, hey, look, we appreciate everything that you've done for us. But you know that things in the world right now are not, people, the general public aren't going to accept you as their superhero. So I would appreciate it if you retire. So basically, he was kind of forced to retire, forced to retire his super heroics. So for over 60 years, I believe, he was just basically in hiding. He became a professor. Hung up his cape and eventually kind of came back when the time dictated him to come back. And he's partnered up with like the Fantastic Four, the Avengers. He eventually became, he created his own team called the Multiversal Avengers, where he had different heroes from different universes, basically kind of going around the multiverse and like saving, like doing things basically to try and, I wanted to say it might have been to try and stop the incursions during Secret Wars. But yeah, he was he is seriously a powerhouse, guys. Like he is easily slept on. Like unless you're like a diehard Marvel fan, not many people know. Like if you're a cursory like sort of comics fan in general, not many people are gonna know who he is. But like he is definitely like one of the sickest characters to like come out of Marvel. And obviously like he's not like the oldest character. He debuted in 2008. But his history within the Marvel universe stretches back pretty far to where he's like one of the first superheroes to ever like be in America. So he's definitely super cool. So if you're interested in Blue Marvel, go and check out anything that he's in. Like I said, the Multiversal Avengers is like probably one of his more prominent like roles in Marvel at right now. Otherwise, go and check out his origin. Like I said, it's Adam Legend of the Blue Marvel #1. It's a really great read, and it's really kind of gives you a snapshot of like what the time was in America and why he was basically like put out of commission for so long within the Marvel universe. You got anything to add, bro? Oh, can't hear you. Oh, there you go. We got you.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Sorry, guys. This always happens with him. Thought we had gotten above it. I can't hear you. Nothing.
You hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I wanted to put the headphones on, see if I could. It was kind of time I should have did that, but I didn't really know all that. I don't really know who Blue Marvel was until you just said until today. So I knew I heard of him, of course, because I play the Marvel Snap game card game.
Right.
So it's pretty cool to actually learn about new characters, and I definitely appreciate you for that information because, like I said, knew nothing. I just know of the character from the card game. I knew he's black.
Sure. He has a super like interesting character, and like his backstory in general is like very interesting. And it was basically just like I said, a snapshot of like what the world was like back then, and the fact that he literally saved the world and nobody would have accepted him just because of the color of his skin. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yep. Like
it's crazy.
I was talking about the original Captain Marvel, Isaiah Bradley.
You mean Captain America?
I said Captain Marvel. I meant Captain America. Yeah, excuse me.
And he's not the original, but he was the second. He was like the second one to go through the
superhuman soldier experiment.
Super soldier Yeah.
I meant super soldier, not superhuman soldier.
I want to say that was actually, I want to say, right before the Korean War, or it was during the Korean War, that he became Captain America for a while, and then eventually was like locked in prison. That's a whole another story we can go into.
Yeah.
Just in general. I mean, man, we got a little bit of time left. Are you on a time limit today, or you got some time to?
Nah, I'm not on a time limit. Just rocking it out today.
All right, cool. I was gonna say, I mean, if you want, we could probably hit one more.
Yeah, we can hit one more. I have a feeling you're gonna talk about exactly what I was thinking of. Are we gonna talk about him or no?
Are you talking about Sweet Christmas himself? Sweet Christmas. You know what I'm talking about?
I thought we talked. No, we didn't. You know, I was thinking of why? I don't know. I was thinking of Sam Wilson. But yeah, we could touch Mr. Sweet Christmas himself.
All right, I'll leave it up to you. What do you want? Or no? You know what? We'll leave it up to fate. We'll flip a coin here and see who it is that we want to talk about.
Okay.
So heads, we'll talk about Luke Cage. Tails, we'll talk about Sam.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, so heads, we'll talk about Luke Cage then. All right, which is awesome because I actually have a picture of him, and I unfortunately don't have one of Sam. But Luke Cage,
AKA Power Man.
AKA Power Man. Did you want to take this one?
Oh no, please, because I know you said you wanted to talk about him. I know you've been waiting, so I'll give you this one too.
So Luke Cage, aka Carl Lucas, first appeared in Luke Cage Hero for Hire #1 in June of 1972. He was created by Archie Goodwin, George Tuska, Roy Thomas Jr., and John Romita Sr. I mean, at this point, I feel like people should know who he is just because he's had his own Netflix series. And he is like one of the more prominent like black superheroes in Marvel Comics. I mean, he is sorry, I'm like blanking here. Anyways, so yeah, he's also called Power Man. He typically goes just by Luke Cage, but I mean, he kind of interchanges his alter ego from time to time. He was also I kind of touched on it a little bit when we were talking about Blade, but he was also kind of part of that blaxploitation movement in the early 70s, especially if you know his like original costume, where he's got on the high collared yellow I don't even know what you call it, like a leisure suit like shirt. He had on he had a silver tiara. He's got the freaking silver bracers. He had like this big, chain belt. But again, it was kind of to like bank off of the blaxploitation movement, and sort of modeled after that. But like Luke Cage, Hero for Hire has always kind of been his moniker. Obviously, like he is a superhero, but and most of the time he does the right thing and just like helps people regardless. But if there's like other little things that people like want him to do, whether it's being a bodyguard or for protection or whatever the case may be, if you got the money to pay him. That's what he's looking for. He's a frequent collaborator of Danny Rand, aka the Iron Fist. They made up a team called the Heroes for Hire. His powers include extreme durability, like his skin is like steel, like hard as steel. He's basically bulletproof and nigh invulnerable. He's got superhuman strength, and stamina and durability. He's also got a regenerative healing factor. some of his, I mean, like, he is definitely a street hero, typically operating out of Harlem, but really kind of throughout New York as a whole. He's been on the Avengers. I want to say he was part of the New Avengers. Yeah, he was part of the New Avengers. He was on a team called the Defenders. You might know that mostly from the Netflix series. Apparently, he was also affiliated with the Fantastic Four one time. He's in the imprint Marvel Knights, and then he was also part of the Thunderbolts. That I didn't know. I didn't know he was part of the Thunderbolts at all. Another frequent collaborator of his is Misty Knight and Colleen Wing. And then he is actually married to Jessica Jones.
And they have a kid.
They have a child together.
Which you hear.
I mean, say what?
I would say what you see in comics is like sometimes you'll be fighting, and then Jessica will come like, and he'll be like, "Well, guys, I gotta go."
Right, literally, just like stop in the middle of what he's doing. He's just like, I gotta head home and stuff. So, but I mean, he's like one of the cool. He was like one of the coolest characters. I mean, he has cool ass catchphrases. One of which is my favorite. I mean, "Sweet Christmas" is his like catchphrase. He'll say it at any point in time for whatever reason. You know, one that was really funny. I think he was hired by Dr. Doom to do something to fight someone, I believe. And so he went to collect from Dr. Doom, and he was like, "Where's my money, honey?" So that's hilarious. But like, he is like again, he's one of the more prominent street heroes in Marvel. I mean, everybody knows him. He's not hiding his identity at all. He doesn't hide behind any mask or anything like that. And he actually legally changed his name to Luke Cage. So he's just known as Luke Cage. I don't remember what. I'm not entirely caught up with where he is in the comics right now, especially after it was the. I can't remember the name of it. What the name of the storyline was, but basically, like, they were trying to do another Superhuman Registration Act. Wilson Fisk was like the one, like, kind of overseeing that, and then eventually it comes down to Luke Cage says that he is actually going to run as mayor against Kingpin. And I want to say that he actually ended up winning, but as far as like where that has gone since then, I don't entirely know. Yeah. What you got? Anything to add
about the Dr. Doom story, which is hilarious? So it gives, like, of course, like a brief of it. It says Dr. Doom, the ruler of Latveria, hired Luke Cage to defeat a bunch of rogue Doombots who disguised themselves as African American New Yorkers. Luke took the job and destroyed the Doombots with ease. However, Doom skipped town without paying his $200 fee. Luke borrowed the Fantastic Four's jet, flew to Latveria, and beat the living hell out of Doom until he paid him his fee. After he left him in peace and then returned to the States.
Bro, he hit him with that
Ultra combo. Perfect.
Bro, in order for you to go out there and go beat up Dr. Doom, you are OG. I don't care. Like,
for real.
Like, everybody knows Dr. Doom is one of the coolest. But yeah. So, funny thing is, you know, funny thing is, Wolf and I ended up making a
It was a league, right?
we didn't do a league, but our league now is for him. That's me. All right. His league, our league now is, like, we call it like Pay Me, is literally from Heroes for Hire. But we actually created Luke Cage and Iron Fist. Of course, I was Iron Fist. He was Luke Cage. So it's cool to give him a nice little tribute for this. So again, thank you, Marvel, for all these dope characters that we got to name today.
Definitely. Chad, man, I mean, Marvel definitely. One of the things with Marvel, especially when they started out, the like, at least as Stanley tells it, is that what he wanted out of Marvel was for it to be like the comics. He wanted to kind of reflect the real world. And he wanted to be like, hey, look, you look out that window and like that's what you like. That's what you see. That's what you see in the comics. So that's while obviously they weren't like the first to bring in black characters into the comic books and stuff like that. They definitely, I feel like when they hit the ground, they hit the ground running with their black characters because they started definitely pumping them out a lot more. Especially towards like I said in the 70s, that's when a lot of them started hitting. Whether that was to capitalize on the blaxploitation movement, like I was saying, from Hollywood in the movies, or they were wanting to like get black readers to pick up comics more because they started seeing people who looked like them and weren't depicted as like racist characters. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely feel like Marvel. I don't know. I would say, in my opinion, I feel like Marvel has a lot more. Their black characters a lot richer than, say, like the ones in DC, or at least the ones that DC put out originally. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. Like, characters are cool, like, to see, and then like just to know that like, we have people like us that's in comic books. So we had to give a huge shout out to it, to the following, or not even the following, to our black superheroes, and what they're supposed to represent for us.
So just to kind of give you a quick list, guys, if you are interested in reading any more about any of these black superheroes, any of the ones that we talked about today, or some of the ones that I'm going to actually list here, these are some more of whether they're known or unknown to you. I would definitely check out some of these characters. So we've got Bishop, part of the X-Men as well. Sync, also part of the X-Men. Moon Girl, who I believe Bankai can kind of speak to a little bit. She's actually got a series out right now. Misty Knight, who I mentioned earlier when talking about Luke Cage. War Machine, who we didn't talk about, but I mean, if you're a fan of the MCU, I'm sure you know who Rhodey is. But definitely check him out. He had like an awesome series in the like mid 2000s. It was insane. Not necessarily a hero, but a character that I like nonetheless. Prowler. Eli and Isaiah Bradley, aka Patriot, and the Black Captain America, the first Black Captain America. Falcon, aka Sam Wilson, who we didn't talk about today. The original Goliath, Bill Foster. Victor Alvarez, also called Power Man. Cloak of Cloak and Dagger. And then Spectrum, or Pulsar, as she's also known, or Captain Marvel, as she was once known as, aka Monica Rambeau. Yeah. You got anything else to add, man, before we head out?
We got Riri Williams, Ironheart.
Right, Riri Williams, Ironheart. I did think about it. She's also been in the MCU recently. Supposed to be getting either a movie or a show of her own as well. I mean, I know that there are probably more characters that we didn't necessarily say. I mean, I want to say I probably hit most of the ones that are in the picture behind me here. I mean, we got Okoye, obviously, from. Can't seem to move my head in the right spot. There she is. It's Okoye up here, but I want to say I hit most of these characters.
Yeah, we definitely did.
Ooh, one more I forgot actually. Jericho Drum, aka Brother Voodoo, who was at one point a Sorcerer Supreme. He is pretty awesome too. Definitely check him out.
And one more I'm gonna name because I didn't get a chance to. Nakaya. She's also, I believe she's also a part of the You just said it too. Yeah.
I don't know if she's pictured here, but yeah, dude, definitely definitely check out those characters if you haven't. If you have any interest in learning more about any black characters from Marvel. Next week we will be taking a look at some of the black superheroes from DC.
Or DC, not DC Universe.
Well, yeah, the DC Universe. One caveat I will say, though, we won't be touching on Static or Icon just because we will be saving them for when we talk about Milestone towards the end at the end of the month. So definitely, like I said, tune in for that. But I mean, was there anything else that you wanted to talk about or touch on before we head out here?
Nope, we're good to go from here.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us, folks. If you joined us live, if you're watching us on the replay, try to catch us live one of these days. If you like the video, make sure you like it. Comment below. Share if you like. Subscribe to the channel. We'll try to be here on a semi-regular basis. We're usually here on Saturday or Sunday, talking all types of nerd stuff, all kinds of geek stuff. Anything that you might want to know or learn, leave it in the comments. Join us live and interact with us. But otherwise, I've been Master D Maito. He's been
Bankai Merc. Can I give that? Yeah.
Let's hit that outro. Where's the outro?
Hit that outro, baby.
This is the way.